2023. Black R&B legends who died. Get ready. This isn't just music history. It's a journey through the voices that shook the world. These legends didn't just sing. They poured their souls into every note, creating anthems that broke barriers, sparked movements, and still give us chills today. From fiery stage performances to heart-wrenching ballads, their stories are as powerful as their music, and some ended in triumph, others in tragedy. Which of these icons truly changed the game forever? Watch closely, feel the passion, and join the conversation in the comments. Because Legends of Black Excellence is about to bring the truth to life. Vesta Williams. Vesta Williams, born on December 1st, 1957 in Coshocton, Ohio, was an American R&B singer and actress known for her incredible vocal range and emotive performances. Raised in a musical household, Williams was encouraged to sing and perform from a young age. She moved to Los Angeles in the late 1970s, where she began working as a session singer, lending her voice to numerous commercials and background vocals for established artists. Her breakthrough came in the early 1980s when she was signed to A&M Records. In 1986, she released her debut album Vesta, which included the hit single Once Bitten, Twice Shy. The song's catchy melody and Williams's powerful, soulful voice quickly gained attention, and she became known for her ability to deliver both up-tempo hits and heartfelt ballads with equal skill. Her rich, emotive voice set her apart from other R&B artists of the time. In 1987, Williams released her second album, Vesta 4, which featured the hit single Congratulations. The song became one of her signature tracks and was a staple on R&B radio, showcasing her vocal range and ability to connect with her audience on an emotional level. Vesta Williams' musical style blended soul, R&B, and a bit of jazz with her vocal delivery, often compared to that of soul greats like Aretha Franklin and Gladys Knight. Throughout the 1990s, Williams continued to release albums, though her commercial success began to wane as R&B music evolved. Despite this, she remained a respected figure in the industry and continued to perform and record music. In addition to her music career, Williams also ventured into acting, appearing in television shows such as The Parent 'Hood and Martin, where she showcased her versatility and charm. Tragically, Vesta Williams passed away on September 23, 2011, at the age of 53. Her death was ruled as an accidental overdose, and she was found in her Los Angeles home. Williams' passing shocked the music world, as she had been relatively quiet in her career's later years, but remained a respected and beloved figure among fans and fellow artists. Her legacy lives on through her timeless songs, and she is remembered as one of the most powerful and distinctive voices in R&B and soul music. Minnie Riperton. Minnie Riperton, born on November 8, 1947 in Chicago, Illinois, was one of the most gifted and unique vocalists in the history of soul and R&B music. Known for her extraordinary 5-octave vocal range and her ability to sing in the whistle register, Riperton was a true vocal virtuoso. Her early life was shaped by music, as her mother was a professional singer who encouraged her love of music from an early age. Riperton began her professional career in the 1960s as a member of various girl groups, including the Gems and the Rotary Connection, before being discovered by the legendary producer Carl Davis. Her breakthrough came in the early 1970s when she released her first solo album, Come to My Garden 1970, which showcased her remarkable vocal abilities but initially went under the radar. Her true commercial success came with her 1975 album, Perfect Angel, which included the massive hit Lovin' You. The song, with its gentle melody and Riperton's stunning whistle notes, became an international smash. It remains her signature song and is one of the most iconic soul tracks of the 1970s. The song's heartfelt lyrics, combined with Riperton's ethereal, angelic voice, made it a timeless classic. Her ability to effortlessly transition from deep, soulful notes to soaring high notes placed her in a class of her own, and her vocal techniques, particularly her use of the whistle register, influenced generations of vocalists. Throughout the 1970s, Ripperton continued to release successful albums, including Adventures in Paradise, 1975, and Minnie, 1979, which showcased her range, versatility, and ability to infuse soul, jazz, and pop into her music. Her smooth, sophisticated sound and her ability to convey deep emotion through her voice made her one of the most beloved and respected artists of her time. Tragically, Minnie Riperton's career was cut short by her battle with breast cancer. In 1976, she was diagnosed with the disease, but she continued to perform and record music throughout her treatment. Her 1979 album, Minnie, was released during her illness, and her song Memory Lane captured the poignancy of her experience. Ripperton's health declined rapidly in 1979, and she passed away on July 12, 1979, at the age of 31. Her death left a void in the music world as she had so much more to give, but her music continues to live on. Minnie Riperton's legacy as a vocal innovator and soul singer is enduring. Her influence on vocalists across genres, especially her groundbreaking use of the whistle register, remains unmatched. Songs like Lovin' You and Inside My Love continue to be celebrated, and she is remembered as one of the greatest vocalists in music history. Her artistry, warmth, and vocal genius remain a defining part of R&B and soul music. Sam Cooke. Sam Cooke, born on January 22, 1931 in Clarksdale, Mississippi, was one of the most influential and groundbreaking artists in the history of soul music. Often referred to as the King of Soul, Cooke's smooth voice, captivating charisma, and ability to blend gospel pop and R&B made him one of the most respected figures in American music. Raised in a religious family, Cooke's early exposure to gospel music at the Church of God in Christ had a profound impact on his vocal style. As a teenager, he sang in his church choir, and by the time he was 19, he was already performing as part of the gospel group The Soul Stirrers. In the early 1950s, Cooke transitioned to secular music and signed a record deal with Keane Records. His breakthrough came in 1957 with the release of You Send Me a Song that became a massive hit and is widely regarded as one of the greatest love songs in the history of pop music. The track's success marked the beginning of a career that would redefine the sound of soul and popularize the genre across racial lines. Cooke's career reached new heights in the early 1960s, with a string of hits such as Chain Gang, Wonderful World, and Cupid. His ability to blend smooth melodies with socially conscious lyrics helped him to become a voice of the times. Cooke's style was unique as he often fused elements of gospel and pop, delivering his soulful ballads with a warmth and sincerity that made him beloved by audiences around the world. Perhaps Cooke's most enduring legacy is his involvement in the civil rights movement. As a prominent African-American artist, Cooke used his platform to speak out against racial inequality. One of his most iconic songs, A Change Is Gonna Come, 1964, was directly inspired by his experiences with racism and his desire for change. The song became an anthem for the civil rights movement and remains one of the most powerful songs in the history of popular music. Tragically, Sam Cooke's life was cut short at the age of 33. On December 11, 1964, Cooke was shot and killed at the Hacienda Motel in Los Angeles under mysterious circumstances. The details surrounding his death remain controversial, with some questioning whether it was a justified act of self-defense or a case of foul play. Regardless of the circumstances, his death marked the end of a promising career. Cooke's influence, however, continues to be felt today, and he remains a central figure in the history of soul and R&B music. His songs, including You Send Me, A Change Is Gonna Come, and Wonderful World, continue to resonate with audiences, and his legacy as the King of Soul remains unchallenged. Otis Redding. Otis Redding, born on September 9, 1941 in Dawson, Georgia, was one of the most powerful and influential voices in the history of soul and R&B music. Raised in a church-going family, Redding was exposed to gospel music from an early age, which became the foundation for his later career. He initially sang in church choirs, But it wasn't until he moved to Macon, Georgia in the early 1960s that he began to hone his skills as a professional musician. Redding's big break came when he recorded the iconic song "These Arms of Mine" in 1962 for Stax Records. His raw, emotive voice and ability to convey pain, passion, and joy through his singing quickly gained attention, and he became a leading figure in soul music. Redding's style was characterized by a unique blend of gospel blues and R&B, and his powerhouse voice was often compared to that of Sam Cooke. His live performances were electrifying, and his stage presence was commanding, making him one of the most dynamic performers of his era. Throughout the 1960s, Redding continued to release hit after hit, including "I've Been Loving You Too Long," "Respect," and "Try a Little Tenderness." The latter in particular showcased Redding's ability to take a song and infuse it with his own soul and heart. His 1965 album, Otis Blue, Otis Redding Sings Soul, became one of his most revered records and included some of his most enduring songs. His 1967 single, "Sittin' on the Dock of the Bay," became his signature song, a beautiful introspective ballad about longing and loss. The song's heartfelt lyrics and Redding's emotive delivery made it an instant classic and one of the most beloved tracks in soul music. Otis Redding's career was on the rise, and he was poised to reach even greater heights when tragedy struck. On December 10, 1967, at the age of 26, Redding died in a plane crash while traveling to a concert in Madison, Wisconsin. The crash also claimed the lives of several members of his backup band, the Bar-Kays. His death was a devastating loss to the music world, as Redding's potential as an artist was virtually limitless. Despite his short life, Otis Redding left behind an indelible legacy. His contributions to soul music, particularly his ability to blend gospel-inspired passion with the grit and power of R&B, paved the way for future artists. His influence can be heard in the music of artists such as Aretha Franklin, Al Green, and Ray Charles, and his recordings continue to resonate with listeners worldwide. Otis Redding is remembered not only for his timeless music, but also for the way he brought deep, emotional depth to every song he sang, making him one of the greatest voices in the history of soul music. James Brown. James Brown, born on May 3, 1933 in Barnwell, South Carolina, is often referred to as the Godfather of Soul, and remains one of the most influential musicians in the history of popular music. Growing up in extreme poverty, Brown's early life was filled with hardship, but his passion for music and dance was undeniable from a young age. His mother, a gospel singer, encouraged his musical talents, and he began singing in church and later in local gospel groups. Brown's professional career began in the mid-1950s when he joined the group The Famous Flames, eventually becoming their lead singer. In 1956, he released his breakthrough single, "Please, Please, Please," which became a massive hit and set the stage for his future success. The raw intensity and emotion in his voice, paired with his electrifying stage presence, captivated audiences and set him apart from his contemporaries. As the 1960s progressed, James Brown's influence on music began to grow exponentially. He pioneered the development of funk, a genre that would forever change the landscape of popular music. His revolutionary rhythms, tight syncopated grooves, and innovative use of horns and drums laid the foundation for what would become known as funk music. Tracks like "Papa's Got a Brand New Bag, I Got You," "I Feel Good in Cold Sweat" are just a few examples of how Brown redefined the sound of R&B and popular music. His live performances were legendary, and he became known for his energetic, sweat-drenched shows, which were filled with dynamic choreography and vocal acrobatics. James Brown's influence extended far beyond the music industry. He was a cultural icon who became known for his activism, particularly in the civil rights movement. His songs such as "Say It Loud, I'm Black and I'm Proud" became anthems for African American empowerment and pride, and he used his fame and platform to push for social change. Brown's contributions to both music and culture were immense, and he inspired countless artists across genres from Michael Jackson to Prince, and influenced the development of hip-hop, disco, and pop. Despite his musical success, Brown's life was marked by controversy and personal struggles. His volatile temper and legal issues often overshadowed his career, and he had several run-ins with the law. Nevertheless, his music continued to inspire and impact people around the world. James Brown passed away on December 25, 2006, at the age of 73 from heart failure due to complications from pneumonia. His death was met with an outpouring of grief, as he had left an indelible mark on the music world. His legacy, however, lives on. Brown's influence on soul, funk, and popular music remains profound, and he is remembered as a true pioneer whose innovations changed the sound of modern music forever. His powerful voice, stage presence, and commitment to social change solidified his place as one of the most important figures in music history. Bill Withers. Bill Withers, born on July 4, 1938 in Slab Fork, West Virginia, is widely recognized for his deeply soulful voice and his remarkable ability to tell stories through his music. Growing up in the coal mining town of Slab Fork, Withers had a humble beginning and was raised by his grandmother after his parents separated. He joined the U.S. Navy at 17 and later moved to Los Angeles to pursue his music career. Despite having no formal training, his raw talent and unique sound soon caught the attention of the music industry. In 1971, Withers released his debut album, Just As I Am, which featured the hit song, Ain't No Sunshine. The song, with its haunting melody and poignant lyrics, became an instant classic and introduced Withers' emotive, soulful voice to the world. His ability to capture universal emotions in simple yet profound lyrics made him a standout artist in the R&B and soul genres. Over the next few years, Bill Withers continued to create music that resonated with people on a deep level. His songs like Lean on Me, Lovely Day, and Use Me became anthems of hope, friendship, and personal empowerment. Lean on Me in particular became a symbol of unity and support, and it remains one of Withers' most beloved songs. His ability to write songs that combined universal themes with heartfelt sincerity made him one of the most respected artists of his time. Withers' music, often simple in structure but rich in emotional depth, continued to find success throughout the 1970s and 1980s. His warm, gravelly voice and storytelling ability set him apart from other artists in the soul and R&B world. He won several Grammy Awards, and his songs have been covered by numerous artists across different genres. Despite his success, Withers' career in the spotlight was relatively brief. In the mid-1980s, he decided to step away from the music industry, citing personal reasons and a desire to live a quieter life. He lived out of the public eye for many years, but his music never lost its relevance. In 2009, Withers was inducted into the Grammy Hall of Fame, and his songs continue to be a source of inspiration for artists today. Bill Withers passed away on March 30, 2020, at the age of 81, due to heart complications. His death marked the end of an era for soul and R&B music, but his legacy endures through his timeless songs. Bill Withers is remembered for his ability to create simple yet powerful music that connected with people on a personal level, and his music continues to be celebrated for its emotional depth and sincerity. Solomon Burke. Solomon Burke, born on March 21, 1940 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, was one of the most influential figures in the development of soul, R&B, and rock music. Known as the King of Rock and Soul, Burke's deep, commanding voice and charismatic presence on stage made him a standout performer in the 1960s. Raised in a large family in a religious household, Burke was exposed to gospel music early on, and his father was a pastor. His gospel background would later influence the way he approached soul music, blending emotional delivery with spiritual depth. Burke's music career began in the late 1950s, and by the early 1960s, he had signed with Atlantic Records. His first big hit, Just Out of Reach of My Two Open Arms in 1960, marked the beginning of his successful run with the label. However, it was his 1961 song Cry to Me that became one of his signature hits. The song, with its aching vocals and raw emotion, has since become a soul classic and was featured in the soundtrack of the film Dirty Dancing. It highlighted Burke's ability to convey deep longing and emotion, earning him a place as one of the premier soul artists of the era. Throughout the 1960s and 1970s, Solomon Burke continued to record a string of hits including Everybody Needs Somebody to Love, None of Us Are Free, and The Price. His music often crossed genres, blending gospel, R&B, rock, and country, making him one of the most versatile performers of his time. He became known not only for his vocal ability, but also for his engaging live performances, often working a crowd with his dynamic stage presence and charismatic energy. Despite his commercial success, Burke struggled with the changing tides of the music industry. As rock and roll gained more dominance in the late 1960s and early 1970s, Burke's brand of soul music began to lose some of its commercial appeal. However, he never stopped performing, and his influence remained significant in the music world. In the 2000s, Solomon Burke experienced a resurgence in popularity. His album Don't Give Up on Me, 2002, produced by Joe Henry, received critical acclaim and won a Grammy Award for Best Contemporary Blues Album. Burke's comeback showed the world that his music, rich with emotion and wisdom, had lost none of its power. His ability to blend old-school soul with modern influences helped him regain recognition as one of the greatest voices in music history. Solomon Burke passed away on October 10, 2010, at the age of 70, while on a flight to the Netherlands for a performance. His death was sudden and unexpected, marking the end of an era for soul music. Burke's contribution to the genre cannot be overstated, as his unique ability to blend gospel fervor with soul music helped to shape the sound of the 1960s and beyond. He is remembered as a pioneering figure whose powerful voice and dynamic performances continue to influence artists to this day. Ronnie Hawkins. Ronnie Hawkins, born on January 10, 1935 in Huntsville, Arkansas, was an American-Canadian rockabilly singer and musician who became a key figure in the development of Canadian rock music. Known for his high-energy performances and charismatic stage presence, Hawkins was a pioneer of the rock and roll movement in Canada and is considered one of the country's first rock superstars. Hawkins moved to Canada in 1958 and quickly became a beloved figure in the Canadian music scene. His high-octane performances and rockabilly style made him a standout performer, and he became known for hits like Mary Lou and Susie Q. His music was a mix of rockabilly, blues, and country, and his band, the Hawks, became one of the most famous backing groups of the era. In fact, the Hawks would later go on to achieve worldwide fame as Bob Dylan's backing band, known as the band, making Hawkins an integral part of rock history. Hawkins' influence on Canadian music is immeasurable. Not only was he one of the first artists to bring rock and roll to Canada, but he also helped to shape the Canadian music industry by mentoring and influencing future generations of musicians. His lively performances and dedication to his craft made him a fixture in the Canadian music scene for decades. Throughout his career, Hawkins released several albums and had hits in both Canada and the US, including Hey Bo Diddley and Mary Lou. Despite his success, Hawkins' life was not without challenges. His relationship with the Canadian government was often rocky, and he faced struggles with the music industry and his personal life. Nonetheless, he remained a tireless performer and an advocate for Canadian music, earning numerous accolades throughout his career. Hawkins retired from performing in 2000, but his influence on rock and roll and Canadian music remains significant. In 2013, he was awarded the Order of Canada for his contributions to Canadian culture, cementing his place as one of the country's most important musical figures. Hawkins passed away on May 29, 2022, at the age of 87, leaving behind a legacy as one of the true pioneers of rock and roll in Canada. Johnny Taylor. Johnny Taylor, born on May 5, 1934 in Crawfordsville, Arkansas, was a renowned American R&B and soul singer who became known as the Soul Man for his emotionally charged voice and poignant lyrics. Taylor's career spanned 5 decades, and he became a staple in the soul, blues, and gospel scenes, with a career that included both massive hits and personal struggles. Taylor began his career in gospel music singing in church choirs as a child, and later joined gospel groups such as the Highway QCs and the Soul Stirrers, the latter of which he became the lead vocalist in 1957. His gospel roots were evident in the intensity of his soul performances, and his time with the Soul Stirrers set the stage for his transition into secular music. In 1961, Taylor began recording for the influential Stax label, where he released several successful albums. It was during his time at Stax that Taylor gained national attention with his hit Who's Making Love in 1968. The track showcased his smooth baritone voice and his ability to convey deep emotions through his music. The song, with its catchy melody and Taylor's soulful delivery, became one of the most iconic songs in the history of soul music. His 1973 hit, I Believe in You, You Believe in Me, further cemented his place as one of the genre's leading voices. Taylor's career took a more mainstream turn in the 1970s, with the release of his album, Wanted the Best of Johnny Taylor. The single Disco Lady, released in 1976, became his first #1 hit on the Billboard Hot 100, and it also made him the first soul artist to receive a gold record for a single. His ability to adapt to changing musical trends, including the disco movement, kept him relevant throughout the decades, and he remained a chart-topping artist for much of his career. Despite his commercial success, Taylor's life was not without its hardships. His personal struggles with alcoholism and his tumultuous relationships were often reflected in the emotional depth of his music. Taylor's work was deeply personal, and many of his songs tackled themes of heartbreak, relationships, and self-reflection. His ability to translate his pain and experiences into music made him a relatable figure to his audience. Johnny Taylor passed away on May 31, 2000, at the age of 66 after suffering a heart attack. His death marked the loss of one of the most iconic voices in soul and R&B music, but his music continues to resonate with fans and artists today. Songs like Who's Making Love, I Believe in You, and Disco Lady remain staples of the genre, and Taylor's legacy lives on as a testament to the power of soul music and its ability to connect with the human experience. Ruby Turner. Ruby Turner, born on June 22, 1958 in Montego Bay, Jamaica, is a celebrated British singer-songwriter and actress known for her powerhouse vocals and unique blend of soul, R&B, and reggae influences. Raised in a musical family, Turner's early exposure to Jamaican and gospel music deeply shaped her sound. She moved to the UK at a young age and began performing locally, quickly gaining attention for her powerful, emotional voice. Turner's professional breakthrough came in the 1980s when she joined the legendary British soul band, the Corgis, as a backup vocalist. Her voice stood out on their hits, and she quickly established herself as a talent to watch. However, it was her solo career that really showcased her full potential. Her debut album, Ruby Turner 1986, was a mixture of soulful ballads and up-tempo tracks, earning her recognition on the UK R&B scene. Throughout the 1990s, Turner released several successful albums, including The Other Side of Ruby, 1992, and Ruby Turner Live at the Jazz Cafe 1996, which included the hit I'd Rather Go Blind, a soulful ballad that demonstrated her vocal range and emotional depth. Her ability to seamlessly blend soul, blues, and jazz influences with her Caribbean roots made her one of the most respected voices in British R&B. Turner's stage presence is equally as magnetic as her voice, with her live performances often described as emotionally charged and deeply passionate. In addition to her solo career, Turner became known for her collaborations with other artists. She worked with some of the biggest names in the industry, including Bryan Ferry and Jools Holland, appearing on various albums and in live performances. Her work with Jools Holland in particular cemented her status as a prominent figure in the British music scene, and she became a regular on his TV shows and live performances. Over the years, Turner continued to enjoy success with both her solo projects and her collaborations. She also ventured into acting with appearances in several television dramas and stage productions, showcasing her versatility as an entertainer. Ruby Turner's music is a testament to her enduring talent and her ability to connect with audiences through her soulful performances. Her voice remains one of the most powerful and beloved in British R&B, and her influence on the genre continues to be felt. With a career spanning over 3 decades, Ruby Turner remains a true icon of rhythm and blues, known for her emotional depth, her vocal mastery, and her undeniable stage presence. Angela Winbush. Angela Winbush, born on January 18, 1955 in St. Louis, Missouri, is one of the most celebrated vocalists and songwriters in the R&B and new jack swing genres. Winbush's career took off in the early 1980s, when she joined the group Renee and Angela with her musical partner Renee Moore. The duo quickly became known for their smooth, soulful ballads and up-tempo tracks with hits like Your Smile and Save Your Love for Number 1. Their chemistry and ability to merge soul, funk, and pop elements made them a standout act in the early years of R&B. After the duo disbanded, Angela Winbush embarked on a solo career that would define her as one of the leading voices of 1980s and 1990s R&B. In 1987, she released her debut solo album Sharp, which included the hit Angel, a song that showcased her vocal range and emotional depth. Her sultry voice and songwriting talent were immediately apparent, and she became known for her ability to write and produce songs that resonated deeply with listeners. Winbush's music, particularly during the late 1980s and early 1990s, epitomized the smooth, polished sound of new jack swing and modern R&B. Her 1989 album, The Real Thing, produced several hits, including It's the Real Thing and I Don't Need Your Love. Winbush's ability to combine sensuality with strong, confident vocals made her a standout artist, and her smooth harmonies became a staple of R&B radio. In addition to her work as a solo artist, Winbush was an accomplished songwriter and producer. She wrote and produced hits for other artists, most notably I'll Be Overjoyed for her former partner Renee Moore and Secret Lovers for the group Atlantic Starr. Her ability to shape and influence R&B music beyond her own recordings earned her critical acclaim and made her one of the most respected figures in the industry. Winbush continued to enjoy success throughout the 1990s with albums like A Place in My Heart, 1994, but by the late 1990s, she chose to step away from the mainstream spotlight to focus on other creative pursuits. While she no longer releases music as frequently as she once did, Angela Winbush remains a beloved figure in the world of R&B, and her contributions to the genre are recognized as foundational. Her legacy as a vocalist, songwriter, and producer endures, and her influence on R&B, particularly in the new jack swing era, remains undeniable. Angela Winbush's distinct voice and powerful emotive performances continue to inspire new generations of artists and fans, and her work is celebrated as an essential part of the history of contemporary soul and R&B music. Eddie Kendricks. Eddie Kendricks, born on December 17, 1939, in Union Springs, Alabama, was a founding member of the iconic Motown group The Temptations. Known for his distinctive falsetto voice, Kendricks helped shape the sound of soul music during the 1960s and 1970s. Growing up in a musical family, Kendricks was exposed to gospel and blues early on, and his love for music led him to form a group with friends which eventually became The Primes. The Primes would later merge with another group, The Distance, to form The Temptations in 1960. As a member of The Temptations, Kendricks became known for his smooth falsetto on some of the group's most iconic songs. Hits like The Way You Do, The Things You Do, and My Girl featured his soaring high notes, and his vocal style helped define the group's sound during Motown's golden era. His voice became a signature feature of The Temptations' harmonies, and he was often the lead on many of their ballads, adding an ethereal quality to their music. In 1971, Kendricks left The Temptations to pursue a solo career, but his time with the group left a lasting legacy. His 1973 solo hit, Keep On Truckin', marked his transition to a solo artist and showcased his ability to bring the same soulful energy to his solo work that had made him a star in The Temptations. The track was a commercial success, reaching #1 on the R&B charts and helping him carve out a successful solo career. Kendricks continued to release solo albums throughout the 1970s, including Eddie Kendricks' 1973 and Boogie Down 1974. His solo work explored a blend of R&B, funk, and soul, and his distinctive falsetto continued to captivate audiences. Despite his success as a solo artist, Kendricks never recaptured the level of mainstream success he enjoyed with The Temptations. Eddie Kendricks' health began to decline in the 1990s, and he struggled with various medical issues. On October 5, 1992, Kendricks passed away at the age of 52 due to lung cancer. His death marked the loss of one of the most iconic voices in soul music. Although his solo career was somewhat overshadowed by his time with The Temptations, Eddie Kendricks' contribution to the soul and R&B genres is undeniable. His unique voice remains an essential part of the Motown legacy, and his influence on the sound of soul music continues to be felt to this day. Al Wilson. Al Wilson, born on June 19, 1939 in Meridian, Mississippi, was a gifted singer known for his soulful voice and heartfelt ballads. Wilson's early interest in music was sparked by gospel and blues, which influenced his emotive vocal style. His first break in the music industry came in the 1960s when he recorded for various labels, but it was his signing with the Soul City label in the early 1970s that would set him on the path to stardom. Wilson's 1973 hit Show and Tell became a massive success and is regarded as one of his signature songs. The song, with its soulful melody and Wilson's passionate delivery, became an anthem of love and longing. It reached #1 on the R&B charts and became one of the defining songs of the 1970s soul era. Wilson's ability to convey deep emotion through his voice, particularly on ballads, made him one of the most distinctive voices in R&B. Throughout the 1970s, Al Wilson continued to release albums and singles that showcased his vocal versatility. Songs like The Snake and La La Peace Song further solidified his place in the R&B landscape, with The Snake becoming another popular hit. His music was characterized by smooth melodies, soulful instrumentation, and his ability to blend elements of blues, gospel, and R&B into a unique sound. Wilson's success, however, began to slow in the 1980s as musical tastes shifted toward a more contemporary sound. He continued to record and perform, but was never able to recapture the mainstream success he had enjoyed in the 1970s. Despite this, Wilson remained a respected figure in soul music, and his songs continued to resonate with fans of classic R&B. Al Wilson's later years were marked by personal struggles and a less visible presence in the music industry. He passed away on April 21, 2008, at the age of 68 due to complications from kidney failure. His death was mourned by fans and the music community, as he had been a beloved figure in R&B for decades. Al Wilson's contributions to the genre, particularly through his powerful voice and soulful ballads, continue to be celebrated. His music, particularly Show and Tell, remains a timeless classic, and his legacy in the world of soul and R&B music endures. Lenny Williams. Lenny Williams, born on February 16, 1945 in Little Rock, Arkansas, is a renowned soul singer whose distinct voice and emotional delivery have made him a standout figure in the world of R&B. Williams moved to the Bay Area as a teenager, where he eventually became a member of the legendary group Tower of Power, known for its brass-heavy, funk-infused sound. Williams was the lead vocalist of the band during its early years in the 1970s, and his soulful delivery on songs like So Very Hard to Go and You're Still a Young Man helped shape the group's sound and influence on funk and soul music. However, it was Williams's solo career that cemented his status as an iconic soul singer. In 1976, he released his debut album, Lenny, which featured the hit 'Cause I Love You. The song showcased Williams' incredible vocal range and his ability to convey raw emotion through his singing. His voice, which combines smooth falsetto with deep, passionate delivery, became one of the most recognizable in the soul genre. "'Cause I Love You" became a major hit and remains one of Williams' signature songs, with its heartfelt lyrics and Williams' emotional performance, making it a timeless classic. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Lenny Williams released several successful albums, including Love Current 1978 and Spending Time 1981. His music blended soul, R&B, and a bit of funk, and he became known for his ability to mix smooth ballads with up-tempo tracks, often exploring themes of love, heartbreak, and desire. Songs like "I Can't Stop" and "Let's Get Together" further cemented his place as one of R&B's leading voices. Williams continued to perform and record throughout the decades, maintaining a dedicated fan base, particularly in the soul and R&B communities. While his mainstream success fluctuated in the 1990s and 2000s, his influence on soul and his role as a mentor to younger artists remained intact. He was known for his exceptional live performances, often leaving audiences captivated by his vocal power and range. Lenny Williams' legacy as one of soul music's greatest voices endures through his timeless songs. His ability to evoke deep emotion with every note made him a true standout in the genre, and he is remembered for his contributions to R&B and his influence on both contemporary and classic soul music. Kenny Gamble. Kenny Gamble, born on August 11, 1943 in Philadelphia, Pennsylvania, is a legendary songwriter and producer who, along with his musical partner Leon Huff, co-founded Philadelphia International Records (PIR), a label that would become synonymous with the Philadelphia sound. Gamble's work as a producer and songwriter was integral in the development of soul music during the 1970s, and his influence on the genre remains profound. Before his rise as a producer, Gamble was already an accomplished songwriter. He began his career in the early 1960s as part of the songwriting team at Philadelphia's Cameo Parkway label. His early success came with songs like "The 81" by The Showman and "Expressway to Your Heart" by the Soul Survivors. In 1968, he partnered with Leon Huff to form a songwriting and producing team that would go on to shape the sound of Philadelphia soul. Gamble and Huff's production style became iconic for its lush arrangements, rhythmic grooves, and smooth orchestral sounds, creating what is known today as the Philadelphia sound. Their breakthrough came with the release of "If You Don't Know Me By Now" by Harold Melvin and the Blue Notes in 1972, which became a massive hit. The success of the song led to a string of hits for other PIR artists, including the O'Jays' Love Train, Billy Paul's Me, and Mrs. Jones and Teddy Pendergrass's solo hits. These songs became some of the most enduring tracks in the history of soul music. As a producer and songwriter, Gamble was known for his ability to create music that resonated with listeners on a deep emotional level. He often wrote about love, heartbreak, and relationships, but he also used his platform to address social and political issues. His work with the O'Jays on their album Ship Ahoy 1973 included songs like "For the Love of Money" and "Used to Be My Girl," which tackled themes of economic disparity and the complexities of relationships. Gamble's socially conscious approach to songwriting made him a key figure in the development of soul music during a time of significant cultural and political change in America. Philadelphia International Records became one of the most influential labels in R&B and soul music, with Gamble and Huff at the helm. The duo's contributions to the development of disco, soul, and funk helped shape the sound of the 1970s, and their influence continued well into the 1980s and beyond. Their work also played a role in the rise of artists like Patti LaBelle, Phyllis Hyman, and Archie Bell and the Drells, further cementing their place in music history. Throughout his career, Kenny Gamble received numerous accolades for his contributions to music, including a Grammy Award and an induction into the Songwriters Hall of Fame. He continues to be an influential figure in the music industry, and his legacy as a pioneer of Philadelphia soul remains intact. Gamble's work has had a lasting impact on the world of R&B, and his influence can still be heard in the music of contemporary soul artists today. Peabo Bryson. Peabo Bryson, born on April 13, 1951 in Greenville, South Carolina, is widely regarded as one of the most celebrated voices in R&B and soul music, known for his smooth baritone voice and his mastery of the ballad. Bryson's love for music began at a young age, and he was deeply influenced by gospel blues and R&B music. He began singing in church and later moved to Atlanta, Georgia, where he would become part of the vibrant soul and R&B scene in the 1970s. Bryson's breakthrough came in 1977 when he signed with the label Capitol Records. His debut album, Piabo, 1977, introduced his unique voice to a wider audience, though it was his 1984 album, Piabo, that solidified him as a major artist. He was able to capture both pop and R&B audiences with his romantic ballads and smooth delivery. His hit single, Feel the Fire, written and produced by the legendary producer Kashif, was a major success and became one of his signature songs. In the late 1980s, Bryson achieved international fame for his work as a duet partner. His collaboration with Roberta Flack on the song Tonight I Celebrate My Love became one of the most beloved R&B duets of all time. The song was a massive hit, and the pairing of Bryson's velvety, soulful voice with Flack's smoother tones became iconic. His ability to harmonize and complement his duet partners made him a sought-after collaborator, and he later teamed up with other artists such as Regina Belle on A Whole New World, a song from Disney's Aladdin that won a Grammy Award for Best Pop Performance by a Duo or Group. Bryson's career flourished with a string of successful albums throughout the 1980s and 1990s, with songs like If Ever You're in My Arms Again, Can You Stop the Rain, and I Don't Have the Heart becoming chart-topping hits. His smooth delivery and tender ballads made him one of the most recognizable and cherished voices in soul and R&B music during this time. Throughout his career, Peabo Bryson has earned multiple Grammy Awards and nominations, and his ability to connect with his audience through love songs and heartfelt lyrics has made him a mainstay in the R&B world. Even as musical trends evolved, Bryson's classic style and emotive performances continued to resonate with fans. His voice, known for its tenderness and power, has made him a legend in the world of soul and R&B music. Marlena Shaw. Marlena Shaw, born on September 22, 1942, in Morton's Gap, Kentucky, is one of the most versatile and enduring voices in the worlds of jazz, soul, and R&B music. Shaw's musical journey began in her hometown, where she was deeply influenced by the church choir gospel and the jazz greats of the time. After moving to Chicago in the 1960s, she began performing in local clubs and soon caught the attention of the music industry. Her big break came when she was signed to Cadet Records in 1966, where she released her debut album, The In Crowd. Shaw's voice, with its depth, power, and emotional resonance, quickly made her a standout in the world of jazz and R&B. Her style blended elements of jazz, soul, and blues, and she became known for her ability to move seamlessly between genres. Her 1969 album Marlena Shaw was a significant moment in her career, featuring the hit Woman of the Ghetto, a song that became an anthem of empowerment and self-realization. The song, with its powerful message about women's rights and social issues, captured Shaw's ability to speak to the soul of the times. Throughout the 1970s, Marlena Shaw's career continued to rise. Her 1975 album, Shaw's The Way I Feel, showcased her vocal range and ability to blend jazz, soul, and funk. Shaw became known for her incredible vocal improvisations and her ability to infuse her performances with intense emotion. Her distinctive voice could shift from the smoky sensuality of jazz to the raw power of soul music, making her one of the most respected and sought-after artists in the industry. One of Shaw's most significant moments came with her 1976 collaboration with the disco group Thelma Houston, where they recorded The Devil in Me, which became a club hit. Shaw's crossover into disco marked a new phase in her career and helped to further her reach with mainstream audiences. However, Shaw's most enduring work remains in the jazz and soul genres, where she continues to be recognized as one of the most distinctive vocal talents. Throughout her career, Shaw has maintained her status as a highly respected artist in both the jazz and R&B communities, with a dedicated following across the world. Her songs have been widely sampled by hip-hop and R&B artists, further cementing her influence on contemporary music. Songs like California Soul, I've Got to Use My Imagination, and Woman of the Ghetto remain staples in the soul, jazz, and R&B repertoire. Marlena Shaw's legacy as a jazz, soul, and R&B legend endures through her unmatched vocal talent and her ability to transcend musical boundaries. Throughout a career spanning more than 5 decades, Shaw's emotional and dynamic voice has influenced countless artists and captivated listeners worldwide. Laverne Baker. Laverne Baker. Born Dolores. Laverne Baker, on November 11, 1929, in Chicago, Illinois, was one of the most powerful and influential voices in the world of rhythm and blues. Raised in a musical household, Baker developed a love for gospel music and jazz, which shaped her vocal style as she grew older. She began her professional career as a teenager in the 1940s, performing in local clubs and eventually signing with Atlantic Records in the 1950s. Baker's breakout moment came in 1953 when she released the song Tweedlee Dee, which became a major hit, reaching the top of the R&B charts. This track, with its catchy melody and Baker's fiery delivery, helped her establish herself as one of the most exciting voices in R&B. Her energetic, bold style combined elements of blues, jazz, and gospel, and she was known for her ability to effortlessly switch between emotional ballads and high-energy up-tempo tracks. Throughout the 1950s and 1960s, Baker enjoyed a string of hits including I Cried a Tear, CC Rider, and Soul on Fire. Her powerful voice and charismatic stage presence made her a favorite among audiences, and she became one of the most respected female R&B singers of her time. Songs like Jim Dandy, which became one of her signature hits, showcased her vocal range and unique ability to evoke deep emotion through her singing. Baker's music style made her one of the first R&B artists to successfully bridge the gap between mainstream pop and rhythm and blues, helping to break down racial barriers in the music industry. Her work influenced later artists such as Aretha Franklin and Tina Turner, and she became known for paving the way for women in the genre. Despite her success, Baker's career was marked by personal and professional struggles. In the late 1960s, she faced challenges in the changing musical landscape, and her career slowed down in the 1970s. However, she remained active in music, performing in Europe and the US for the remainder of her life. Laverne Baker passed away on March 10, 1997, at the age of 67 from cancer. Her death marked the loss of a true trailblazer in R&B music. Baker's legacy, however, lives on through her timeless songs, which continue to inspire artists and music lovers alike. Her contribution to the genre is significant, and she remains one of the most respected and influential figures in the history of rhythm and blues. Candi Staton. Candi Staton, born on March 13, 1940 in Huntsville, Alabama, is one of the most celebrated voices in soul, gospel, and R&B music. Growing up in a religious family, Staton's early years were shaped by gospel music, which influenced her later work. She began singing in church at a young age and was heavily influenced by the powerful gospel singers of the time. After moving to Atlanta in the early 1960s, Staton began recording music and quickly became known for her soulful voice and gospel-infused style. Staton's professional breakthrough came in 1968 when she signed with Fame Records in Muscle Shoals, Alabama. Her first major hit, I'd Rather Be an Old Man's Sweetheart, was a regional success, but it was her 1970 hit, Stand By Your Man, that really propelled her into the spotlight. The song, originally written and performed by Tammy Wynette, was reinterpreted by Staton with a soulful edge that became a massive success. Her powerful rendition of the song earned her a spot among the top female vocalists in soul and R&B. Throughout the 1970s, Staton enjoyed continued success with a series of hits, including In the Ghetto, Young Hearts, Run Free, and Hallelujah. Anyway, the latter song in particular showcased Staton's gospel roots and her ability to blend them seamlessly with her soul and R&B performances. Young Hearts Run Free became a definitive anthem of freedom and empowerment, and Staton's voice, with its raw emotion and passion, became synonymous with the spirit of the era. In the late 1970s, Staton made a transition to disco, releasing albums that saw her become a staple in the dance music scene. Her disco hits such as Don't Be Afraid further cemented her place in the pop culture lexicon. However, Staten's roots in gospel and soul always remained a part of her music, and she continued to release soulful albums throughout the 1980s and 1990s. Beyond her commercial success, Staten's career has been marked by personal challenges, including struggles with addiction and a tumultuous personal life. Yet she has always managed to overcome her obstacles, and her music remains a testament to her resilience and ability to transform pain into powerful art. Candi Staten is still active in the music industry today, continuing to inspire with her blend of gospel soul and R&B. Her contributions to the genres are undeniable, and her voice remains one of the most distinctive in soul music. Staten's timeless classics like In the Ghetto and Young Hearts Run Free continue to resonate with new generations of music lovers, ensuring her legacy as one of the great voices in American music history. Luther Ingram. Luther Ingram, born on November 30th, 1941 in Jackson, Tennessee, was a soulful R&B singer known for his emotive voice and heartfelt lyrics. Raised in a religious family, Ingram's early exposure to gospel music shaped his vocal style, and he began singing in church at a young age. His deep, resonant voice would go on to become one of the most distinctive in soul and R&B music. Ingram's professional career began in the 1960s when he moved to Chicago to pursue music. He started as a session singer, lending his voice to recordings for artists like The Impressions. His breakthrough came in 1972 when he released his debut album Luther Ingram under the Coco label. The album included his hit single, If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right, which became a massive success and is regarded as one of his signature songs. The song's powerful, emotionally charged delivery paired with Ingram's soulful voice captured the hearts of listeners and solidified his place as a leading voice in soul music. The song If Loving You Is Wrong, with its raw, vulnerable lyrics about love and moral conflict, became a classic and remains a staple in soul music. Ingram's ability to infuse his songs with genuine emotion made him a standout artist, and he continued to release music throughout the 1970s and 1980s, including tracks like Ain't No Sunshine and I'm So Proud. His work often centered around the themes of love, heartbreak, and emotional turmoil, which resonated deeply with his audience. Despite his success, Ingram faced personal and professional challenges, including struggles with the changing musical landscape and the rise of disco in the late 1970s. However, his unique voice and emotional depth allowed him to adapt and maintain a devoted fan base. Ingram's music continued to be celebrated for its honesty and vulnerability, and he was widely regarded as one of the best interpreters of love songs in soul and R&B. Luther Ingram's contributions to soul music are enduring. Though his commercial success began to decline in the 1980s, his influence on the genre remains significant. His ability to create songs that expressed the depth of human emotion ensured that his voice would be remembered for generations. Luther Ingram passed away on March 19, 2007, at the age of 65 from complications related to diabetes. His death marked the loss of one of soul music's greatest voices, but his legacy lives on through his powerful songs, including his timeless classic, If Loving You Is Wrong, I Don't Want to Be Right. Freda Payne. Freda Payne, born on September 19, 1942 in Detroit, Michigan, is an American singer and actress best known for her powerful voice and contributions to the Motown and R&B music scenes. Growing up in Detroit, Payne was exposed to the rich musical heritage of the city, and her early exposure to jazz, gospel, and blues helped shape her vocal style. She began performing at a young age and honed her craft while studying at the University of California, Los Angeles, UCLA. Payne's breakthrough came in the late 1960s when she signed with the Invictus Records label, which was founded by Motown's former executives. In 1970, she released her most famous single, Band of Gold, which became a massive hit, reaching #1 on the charts in the UK, and becoming a popular classic in the United States. The song's infectious melody and Payne's smooth yet powerful vocal delivery made it an instant classic and is still recognized as one of the defining songs of the era. The success of Band of Gold catapulted Payne into the spotlight, and she became a sought-after artist in the soul and R&B genres. Throughout the 1970s, Payne continued to enjoy commercial success with hits like Deeper and Deeper and You Brought the Joy, both of which showcased her versatility as an artist. Payne's ability to blend soul jazz and pop music set her apart from her contemporaries, and she became known for her sophisticated sound and emotional delivery. Her debut album, Frida Payne 1970, which included Band of Gold, was a critical and commercial success, and her follow-up album, Contact 1971, also received positive reviews. While Payne found success in the music industry, she also ventured into acting, appearing in various television shows and films throughout the 1970s and 1980s. She made appearances on popular shows like The Brady Bunch Hour and One Life to Live, as well as in films such as The Great Gatsby 1974. Her acting career added another dimension to her talents and allowed her to continue to build her presence in the entertainment industry. In the 1980s and 1990s, Payne's music career slowed down, though she remained active in the entertainment industry, performing in various live shows and releasing albums occasionally. Her contributions to the music world, especially in the genres of soul and R&B, continued to be recognized, and she remained a respected figure within the music community. Frida Payne's legacy is one of both versatility and resilience. Her ability to adapt to changing musical trends while maintaining her soulful sound made her a staple in the world of R&B, and her timeless hits continue to be celebrated. Songs like Band of Gold and You Brought the Joy remain beloved classics, and her impact on both music and television has cemented her as a true diva of the Motown era. Lou Rawls. Lou Rawls, born on December 1, 1933 in Chicago, Illinois, was one of the most enduring voices in soul jazz and R&B music. Raised in a church-going family, Rawls developed a love for gospel music early on, which greatly influenced his rich baritone voice. As a child, he was exposed to the sounds of jazz and blues, which would later shape his musical style. Rawls was also influenced by the great jazz singers of the time, such as Nat King Cole and Frank Sinatra, and this blend of gospel, soul, and jazz would become a hallmark of his career. Rawls' professional career began in the 1950s when he started performing in clubs around Chicago. He initially gained attention as a background vocalist for some of the biggest names in the music industry, including Sam Cooke, whose influence on Rawls was profound. In the early 1960s, Rawls began recording his own music, and it wasn't long before his soulful voice and smooth delivery earned him a record deal with Capitol Records. His 1966 album, Lou Rawls Live, recorded at the famed New York club The Copa, became one of his most successful projects and marked the beginning of his rise as a major star. Rawls's rich velvet voice and his ability to effortlessly blend jazz, soul, and blues made him one of the most respected vocalists of the era. His breakthrough hit came in 1971 with the release of You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine, a song that became one of his signature tracks and an enduring classic. The song's smooth melody and emotional lyrics, paired with Rawls' deep, velvety voice, made it an international hit and cemented his place in music history. Throughout the 1970s and 1980s, Rawls continued to release successful albums including Black and Blue 1973, All Things in Time 1976, and When You Hear Lou, You've Heard It All 1980. His ability to deliver songs with deep emotional depth, combined with his effortless smooth delivery, made him a favorite among soul and jazz audiences. Hits like Lady Love, Tobacco Road, and See You When I Get There became staples of his repertoire, showcasing his versatility and mastery of different musical genres. Rawls' musical success was complemented by his involvement in charitable work. He was an advocate for the United Negro College Fund, hosting annual telethons that raised millions of dollars for the organization. His philanthropic efforts, combined with his musical career, made him a respected figure both inside and outside of the music industry. In the 1990s, Rawls continued to perform and record, although his commercial success began to diminish as musical trends shifted. However, his influence on R&B and jazz music remained significant, and he remained an active performer well into his later years. Lou Rawls passed away on January 6, 2006, at the age of 72, after a battle with lung cancer. His death marked the loss of one of the most distinctive voices in American music. Rawls' music continues to be celebrated for its smoothness, depth, and emotional resonance. His legacy as one of the greatest vocalists of his time lives on through his timeless songs, including You'll Never Find Another Love Like Mine and Lady Love. Lou Rawls' smooth, sophisticated style made him a beloved figure in soul jazz and R&B music, and his impact on the genre is felt to this day. From powerhouse ballads to genre-defining anthems, these legends shape the very soul of black music, yet their stories spark debate even today. Were they simply entertainers, or were they cultural revolutionaries whose art shifted the course of history? From Sam Cooke's civil rights rallying cry to Minnie Riperton's ethereal 5-octave magic, and from James Brown's funk revolution to Bill Withers' heartfelt simplicity, each left a mark impossible to erase. But which of these icons left the greatest legacy? Drop your thoughts below. The Legends of Black Excellence community is ready to talk.